Welcome to our first episode of MAIgic. I'm Wonjun Jeong.
Hey guys, Marcus Henning over here.
All right, and we're super excited to kick this podcast off. We're going to be talking to you all about AI and the magic of AI and how that's impacting the industry. It's one of the things that we did at Supermove was we recently ran a trends report pulling in survey responses from tons of different moving company owners. And the thing that was at the top was AI and Chat GPT. So this is our first episode, and I think it'd be good to kind of talk about what Chat GPT and AI even is, because I think that's something that could be really fruitful to go through together. Um, what are your thoughts on Chat GPT and AI, Marcus? Like what's
Oh
been
yeah.
happening?
Well, so I've been really pretty deep into it for a couple years now. And it was just until recently that I actually started a Facebook group too for the moving industry. It's AI movers community. And I was surprised that because I was holding off because like no one knows what this is. Like no one's and then it's everywhere in the news. So I was let's see what happens. So I made this group and I called it AI Movers Community. And then within the first like 24 hours, we had 400 or 500 people, and now we're almost to
Yeah,
1,000 within a month or so.
yeah, it was
So I think,
crazy how that blew up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just like how your whole shown the interest level, like I was blown away by the interest level as well. So I think it's something that is now on everybody's radar, and then they're wondering, okay, like what are the pros, what are the cons, like is there some way I could be using this in my business? And yeah, I have been doing it for years, and I've been able to like take my workflows on like everything I do in my life, even if it's like a send a message to my girlfriend. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it just helps you in all aspects, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think there's a huge way that we can, as humans right now, use that as a tool just to kind of improve our daily workflow and improve on like how we even just send normal interactions. As long as it's still us, but we can do it a lot faster and more efficient.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to utilize it.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting is the path that AI sort of took, right? I think when we were all younger, there's like movies like iRobot and Terminator, and that's sort of how I think a lot of people in the world thought about AI. It's, oh,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna like take over and stuff like that. And it's like these robots that can control itself. And I think we're still far from a Terminator scenario from happening.
Yeah.
Um, but I think earlier this year, in like the end of 22, pretty much a year from now, exactly 12 months, ChatGPT was released. And, you know, for like, what do you think is a difference between like that original concept of like picture of AI versus like ChatGPT? What is ChatGPT? How would you think about that?
Yeah, to me, ChatGPT is a way it's really just a language translator from English to Spanish to English to some type of coding to Python. It's just like how can you understand all the languages that our computer databases use and humans use too. And then once it was able to do that, it could understand us better. Before, once it couldn't understand us because it couldn't translate its computer code to our language, the natural language is what we call it. There was no way to interact with it. But now that you can, we're learning that like when we thought about AI maybe 10 years ago, we're like, oh, it's going to replace all the hard labor and all those things. And now we're learning, well, it's a very smart AI that might know more technical things. Like it's been shown to not only help coders code better, but it's actually in some cases 90% better than most coders. And that could be, just also people that are very knowledgeable in, other technical aspects. It can be a tool, or it can be like a really quick way to get to the data.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in the computer science industry, there are like multiple paths. Like the dream of computer science and is sort of like AI to like automate things, but then to kind of
Mhm.
create like this intelligence, right? And um, I think what was really interesting is that when ChatGPT was launched, it sort of reminded me of like, well, I wasn't really a big kid at the time, but like Google, right? Google was like this like very simple search box, and then you type
Yeah.
something in, and then it automatically pulls in what you're searching for and gives you like the best links. And
Hmm.
ChatGPT was very similar. It was like this little chat box, but then when you asked it something or you asked it to do something, it would almost feel like a human was responding. And
Yep.
AI has advanced so much since the Google days to pulling you links to now like being able to understand exactly what you said, like understand language, parse that into, computer, whatever happens, whatever magic happens in the back end, and then turn that back into human language and be able to code and build different things. And um, yeah, it was crazy. Like I remember the first question I asked ChatGPT, I was like, you know, what there's this customer that is very upset and I need to send them an email in order for them to like how do I say this in a very nice way in order to help
Hmm.
help them be less frustrated? And the result
Yep.
was like mind blowing. I was like, that's exactly what I would say.
If I spent the next 6 hours thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. And then the coolest thing is like I was like, oh, that doesn't exactly sound like me. I like to be more concise. How would you make it better? And then it did it again, but like more concisely or like more friendly. And I
Mhm.
was like, wow, this is absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. So um it's been a year since it came out, and I think originally it was just like a very fun and cool thing to try out. But now I'm seeing that a lot of different industries, a lot of different movers are starting to use it. So I know you started the Facebook group. What did you see in the with the movers using it, and
Yeah.
how have you
So
seen
I feel like because it's getting to be a good sized Facebook group, and you want to keep people interactive, right? So I'm just like, okay, what can I test out here? What can I show them? What can draw their attention? And it's I think there's like a bit of fun element where they're like, let's make some cool pictures, right? Let's
Yeah.
use Dolly and like create silly things of um, one example was sometimes in this industry, a customer will book two movers on accident, maybe just because they're so unaware. And so like two movers will show up to the house at the same time in the morning, thinking that
Yeah.
they're moving the customer. And it was like that example, but the like a war between the two moving companies to get the client. Like it was like a like a Star Wars kind of like war.
Oh, you mean like
Um,
two different moving companies that to come to the same place?
to
Oh,
the
wow.
same
Okay.
job because the customer called and booked two movers. I
Uh-huh.
mean,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of it happens a little too often, but yeah. So it was just like a video of like this movie company or a picture of this movie company and this movie company showing up and then realizing that they're competition and then like fighting each other. So just like this cool ideas that people have in their head, and then like I saw another one. I think it was Blake. His kids were messing around with it. It was like a raccoon riding a unicorn, which was has nothing to do with moving, but it's hilarious just to visually see these things. So a lot of that, a lot of the interaction, and then some people are doing some more in depth stuff. But then also, I think they're like it's competition, right? So maybe they're not willing to share as much as they can because they're like worried that someone else is going to take their good idea or whatever. Um, so there's a little bit about that. So I post different things and try different things and just see how people interact with what they have to say.
Yeah.
But I know they're watching. Like you can tell by the analytics that everybody's watching. It's just how much interaction are you getting out of it?
Yeah. So what was some of those things that you thought was like really cool? I remember seeing some of your posts on the
Mm-hmm.
Facebook group, but what was
Yeah.
something that was
So
like mind
I
blowing that ChatGPT and large language
can
models could do?
Can do. Yeah. So I have some like really deep stuff that I don't share in there just because it's like I don't know that the group will understand. So I try to like make it simplified. But just now, with the newest update with Vision, now it can interact with photos a lot easier for the masses. Like that was available, but now the masses can do it just in the same GPT.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so like, and I actually can show it too, but you can put your cube sheet in the back end of the AI and then ask it to look at photos and then take all the furniture from the photos and cube it out for you and build an inventory list. So maybe that is something that would help you today. Um, but
Do you have
maybe
like
video,
a yeah, do you have like an
yeah,
example you want to show?
yeah, I can
Yeah, that'd
show it.
be super
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
Okay, so
So what is this? This is Chat GPT.
this is chat.openai. This is like the front end that everybody can use. It's not like the API version.
Hmm.
So as long as you have a Plus membership and then you're set up for beta, you can access the GPTs. So you
Oh,
just go here and then GPTs. If you don't have the Plus version, which is $20 a month, I don't think you can access this yet. And also, even if you do, you still have to assign this. But I get early access for my
uh-huh.
accounts.
Very cool. Okay.
Um, so I'm pretty sure it understands what weights and measures are for a moving company.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow, you're sort of like a commander. You're like commanding this
Commanding,
computer
yeah.
to do something for you.
Okay, let's see if this works. I'm kind of showing it like
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
it understands where I'm not like maybe this isn't the perfect prompt, but like it's crazy how well it can understand now, and then you can tweak it later. So it's building a GPT in the back end, and I'll go over there in a second. Move master, yes. Assigning a name for you. Now it's going to generate a picture.
Yeah, so this was relatively new, right? I think originally GPT started with like that original chat window and everyone had the same GPT. And
Mm-hmm.
now I think we're able to create specifically, it's called prompted, right? Specifically prompted GPTs that
Correct.
are built to do some tasks specifically well. So like we're building this move master who's going to do the weights and measures really well, and it's going to be focused on that. So yeah, excited to see how this works.
So all this is important, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna skip through it. If it doesn't work the way we want, I can make a video showing you like step by step and take the time and we can share it with people as well.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
mean,
this
you
should
did
give us
this in like
something.
15 seconds. So
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so configure and then configuration is like whatever I did just now, it's actually changing a little bit here in the instructions and the description. So this is like the main prompt, like you said.
yeah.
Conversation starters aren't too important unless you're having random people interact and they need to know what to do with it. I'm going to turn code interpreter on. This is web browsing and this is images.
Oh wow. Hmm.
Code interpreter is so it can look at my files and also like write code if it has to write code to answer questions. Like, I'll just say like ChatGPT is not great at math, but it can use Python to do things better. So like instead of having it rely on a certain language, you can have code interpreter and get like a better math score. Okay, that's different functions, but upload this file. Can you see these files?
I can't. That's okay. I think when you upload it, we'll be able to see it in there.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if my my file, because I'm gonna
Your
go in
your
my
secret
photos and
files
stuff.
are being revealed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm in
yeah.
my
No,
phone
we
right
can't.
now, so. Okay, so here's a photo. We'll hit submit. And I'll tell you, wide angle format for photos
Hmm.
doesn't do as great of a job as normal because the
Yeah,
text use the things for it, but this should be fine. And so you could prompt it to make sure you don't have to redo all this, but I'm just gonna,
sure. But you mean like, so since it's asking you how can I assist, you're saying like in the future you can update this and say like whenever I upload a photo, automatically list the items, something like that.
yeah, in a spreadsheet this way kind of thing.
Wow. So tell me the cubic feet and the total cubic feet. Yeah, estimates sound good. It's almost like there's like a human on the other end, right?
Yeah. And so these questions we could have asked it from the beginning, and then it wouldn't ask me. Most likely, again, it would just spit out the information. It, like, is it okay to estimate? It wants to know if it's okay or not, right?
Right.
It's just like training someone that's brand new to the industry. Like, hey, how do I do this? Okay, is it okay to do this? Yes.
Oh, can you scroll up? Scroll up to the
Hmm.
top?
All the way to the top.
To the image.
Hmm.
Maybe for all the watchers here, for people that are really good at cubing, you can look at this and quickly calculate a cube in your head. Just quick, and let's see how accurate the AI was. Maybe if it's in region or not.
I do have a done version of this. I wanted to kind of show it, but maybe I can just make a clip later and we can just add it.
Yeah. We can just make a clip and then
Okay,
add it in. Yeah.
cool. I can show something else since I'm here, and this will be a lot easier.
Okay. Sure.
So one of the big benefits of ChatGPT also is the ability to look at our spreadsheets, right? We can use our data in a much more friendly way instead of having to go into Excel and like create all the other elements and calculations and formulas. I can take the data from, let's say, I'll grab three. So I'm going to take the data from Google, my Google business profile, phone calls. So it will have like the phone calls, the web interactions of three locations. Okay, how many phone calls?
So this spreadsheet is like what you have a bunch of like phone call data in
Yeah,
there
so
or
this is
like
just going
events?
into your Google business profile and exporting the insights from it.
Wow. Okay. So GMB, Google My Business. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, this example too, you can do it with payroll, you can do it with your CRM and your, for example, like if you want to know all the hot spots of where your movers are moving from and to, you can take your CRM and then just ask ChatGPT like, hey, what zip codes are
Wow.
most of my clients in, right? And then you can get an understanding of what zip codes to target because you know you get a lot of customers from there, or which clients you're not getting, and maybe
Yeah.
those were really good jobs. Maybe those are like high paying jobs all over and over again. So like zip code versus gross revenue. And then, okay, hey, I need to market in this area because these are big paying customers.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. So, I mean, data analysts are so expensive. So you could just
Yeah.
have ChatGPT be your data analyst,
Yeah, you don't have to be an
essentially.
Excel pro. You just have to have the data and just throw it in here and ask it. Yeah,
So,
so
so cool.
week one was 76 calls, week two, 193, week three, 78. So I could say, build me a chart,
What?
and it will come.
Mm-hmm. Dang.
So then you can have visuals of building charts, and then this um, calls versus web clicks.
Ho ho.
Phone
That
clicks,
is
web
awesome.
clicks. Yeah,
So
and
it's
then
like
you can.
week one. So
Mhm.
you can see like website clicks and phone clicks
Yeah,
correlated together.
you can
Yeah.
do it over the year, and then you can add like impressions and searches versus that, and I mean just all your data points. You can really dial in and understand it without having to go in and build these outrageous Excel formulas that might at the end it might not be worth like what you learned, right?
Yep. Yep.
So for example, on how I did this at more of a scale is I took Google Maps search, and it's called the map pack. So um, let's see. So I did this blog here, and it's really long formatted, but I'll just kind of get to the this. So I went and I looked at the top 330 cities with over 100,000 population, and I searched for movers, and I took the data from what shows up in the maps of what moving companies rank highest. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay.
So yep, search for movers. What pulled up in the map for each one of those cities? That was the keyword, and then whoever popped up. Basically, I think I went through the top 50, which doesn't matter, but the top three is what matters, and the top five is still good info.
So the
And I
top
did,
three moving companies listed on Google for 50 different cities.
yeah, for
Hmm.
330 different cities.
Oh, for 330.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
yep. So everything above 100,000, I did this data for.
Wow.
And what I found was I wanted to see how reviews and ratings impacted the positions.
Hmm.
And it was very clear all the way from 1 to 10, with a few exceptions in between where one was higher than the other. But what this means is, on average, the first position has over, looks like 380 or something reviews,
Hmm.
and a median, because averages have highs and lows that it doesn't adjust for. But the median for first ranking position was 160 or 175 or something, right?
Wow.
So you can see the drop just by reviews and ratings alone as a factor. And there's a lot of factors that go into ranking in the maps, but this just shows how important reviews and ratings were, because it just continues to slide down. But what was really cool to see is that the ratings of how many stars you have really stay between like 4.8 stars and like 4.6. Now, just the top three is dead at 4.8. With I think the median or the average was this line, and then the median was this line.
Okay, that
So
makes sense. Yeah.
I guess what I was getting at is some people have mentioned like how important the ratings are and stuff, and like, I want 5 stars is too good. What about 4.3? Well, 4.3 doesn't hit you on this list based off of all the top 100,000 population cities. So I think if you want to make sure you're in line, this is where you need to be. Is this 4.68 to 4.8 stars, or five, of course, is fine too. But
And this is a Google
people,
ratings, right? Google reviews?
yeah, this is the map. Yeah, Google reviews only.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Google reviews. Yeah. Dang.
Yep.
So essentially, if you want to be first place on Google Maps when someone's searching for a moving company, what does this recommend? You probably
For
need more
first
than 200
place,
reviews. Yeah.
you know, and of course, city by city, some people have thousands and stuff, but as a baseline, I would say this is where you need to be because this is the median. And then each city is going to be um, if I was trying to rank for my city, I would look at all the cities in comparable size.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So it's like 175 reviews and you need a 4.8 probably. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
if you do that, you're probably in the top three. You're likely first place in your city. Yeah, is what
And
it's
then if
saying.
you have
That's
all your
awesome. Yeah.
SEO and all the other important stuff, your profile set up right, then that plays into it too. But yeah, it's just really cool how we can take this data, and I mean that list has tens of thousands of columns, rows, and I can build a chart without having to. I could build a chart in there too, but like I didn't have to, which was
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
you
like
can.
you like hired a data team, aka GPT.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
That's so
I
cool.
can see so many aspects of data with CRMs and your client base, and yeah, there's a lot of cool opportunities there.
Nice. Very cool.
All right. And so what do you think about automation versus AI, and like how AI can help with automation and the processes?
Yeah. So it's like that Terminator Google search example, right? Um, I think before we always thought of AI kind of like you tell a computer to do something and it does it, right? There's no like intelligence or thinking involved. I think that's the core of like software alone without AI. You build a software so that you don't have to do something manually, right? Sending an email, sending a text message, setting an alarm to wake up in the morning, like all of those are like automations where a computer is told to do an exact thing and then it's going to do it at that time, right?
Mhm.
But AI is so different. AI is the key word is intelligence and artificial intelligence, and it's almost like there's like a human where it can think and reason, and you're giving them. You can be more vague, you can be more inaccurate, and they can be more creative, or like with DALL-E, right? They can think of like new images, or they can um, craft the email and text messages in a certain way without you saying the exact same thing every single time. That's how I kind of like separate the two. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like with great automation, there's usually points in it where there has to be human interaction because it's not possible. And now with those points, you can add AI into it to like adjust for that. Like instead of having to rely on the human at this one point to do it, now we could just put the original trigger and all the things that come in line after it. We can add AI where a human used to have to be, and do all those manual tasks that provide value, but not like at the extent of having to um, have a human do it. Like I think what we're gonna learn is like now human interaction can be very impactful because we're not stuck doing a lot of the mundane tasks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like one of the things that self-driving cars, the way that they work is they used to work is that you have to feed it a lot of data. And before, when you give the self-driving car technology companies like a picture or a video stream of a car driving and it sees like cones and people, the way that they used to tag it was it would literally be people in third world countries going and like drawing boxes around like cones and people. And like that's like kind of just automation, right? You're telling people to do exactly just like draw the cone around it and
Yeah,
stuff. But AI is like intelligence around it where you can say like, hey, label me all the objects. It could be exactly what you did in your photo, right? Label me all the furniture. And you don't have to tell the AI like if you see this like thing that I don't know, if you see like a sofa and you give it an image of a sofa, of the exact sofa, it's like they draw a box around it. It's like, no, it's like it actually understands what furniture is. It
Hmm.
understands what furniture looks like in a living room in order to like automatically, sorry, in order to smartly with intelligence, like draw these pictures around these and draw these boxes around the photos. So yeah, it's very cool. Um, it's like the next evolution of
Yeah,
automation, and yeah, they're like kind of similar in the sense that uh, you're doing less work, but things are being automated, but now you can automate like 10 times more things, right? With the
I,
power of intelligence.
I think it's very important to state that if someone has used it 6 months ago, like say ChatGPT, and had a certain they they felt like, hey, this is not really working. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. Like, I don't know what all the hype's about. Well, it's changing so fast.
Yeah.
So where like even a month ago you can't do something, a new update comes out or a new whatever comes out, and now you can do it. So the photos that it can look at and determine the furniture items and stuff. Right now, it might pull in like a ceiling lamp or an AC on the wall, and you can teach it to not do those things over and over again. But give it 6 months, and now we're going to be uploading videos, and it can determine all the without building your own AI, and it'll just be available for everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is amazing. Like I just saw Google's release, and they have this camera on, and they have their
Gemini,
Gemini
yeah.
watching. Oh
Gemini,
my
yeah, yeah.
gosh! Like that's a
Yeah.
duck. That's a duck in the water. That's a blue duck.
Yeah.
Like,
If people on this haven't seen that Gemini video, yeah, we'll link it. We'll link it because it's
yeah,
absolutely mind-blowing stuff. It's crazy.
hmm super crazy.
Yeah.
So like, if you tried something, don't think that that's it. Just give it some more time. Test again, and then I've been able to we're not using the photos, to be honest with you, because I in my own moving companies as well. Right now we're just doing text to speech. So as we're watching the videos ourselves, we just talk to it, and then it builds out the
Wow.
inventory for us.
Okay.
So it saves all that time of like pausing the videos and typing it out and writing it into a spreadsheet and then doing the calculation. We just talk to it, and it itemizes everything, and then it converts it to weight.
Yeah.
So that's how I saved 10 minutes per salesperson per um, virtual walkthrough,
Yeah.
and that's okay with me. I'm happy with that, right? Like it
That
doesn't have to be
that
the
adds up so fast too. It's
yeah
crazy. Yeah.
yeah. It doesn't have to be the whole shebang today.
Right. Right. I like what you said about trying it again as like new updates happen. I think especially for people that have been around for since like the 90s and the 2000s. Like before the 90s, like no one was using computers, and then everyone started using computers in the late 90s, and then in the early 2000s, like no one was really using like websites, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then tons of different amazing websites got created, and then in 2010, mobile phones became the new platform where everyone's now using apps. And I feel like in each of those waves, in like the first year, it's always like, that's like kind of
Mm,
cool. It'd be kind of cool to
well,
have like a computer with me in my pocket all the time, but I don't know.
like I don't
I'm
know what I'm
happy
here
with
for.
my giant PC in my office, right?
Yeah, and
Why would I
and
need a phone in my pocket?
in the
And then
mass
everyone's
conversion, it's like everybody has to have it, or they're driving themselves crazy because they don't have it. They feel like they're missing something.
exactly. And I think there are sometimes like technologies that are like super big and talked about. Like for example, I think of like crypto and blockchain, and that was like a huge thing, and people are like, oh yeah, this is the future, but like it's not really immediately useful,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not immediately useful for the day-to-day person, like a phone and a computer and um phone and a computer are and websites are and apps are, but OpenAI and ChatGPT and large language models, the moment you try it, the moment you use it, it's like imagine having like staffs of people like working for you on like very smart ways to build things for you. And like that's crazy. Like that is this is like the new essentially of the next platform that we're going to be leveraging. And I think we're pretty early. I think your moving AI group was very astute. I remember I joined it when it was like I heard about it when there were about like 400 500 people within the day. I saw
Mhm.
like a big post on like these big moving company groups with like 10,000 people. How many people are in it now?
920 something.
Okay, almost 1,000. Yeah, and it's been
Yeah.
what, like 2 weeks?
It seems like it. It
Yeah,
might
yeah, yeah,
be
like
a
two
little
to
bit
three
longer, but
weeks.
yeah, pretty close. It's not very
Yeah,
long. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's definitely caught up with everybody that has similar groups and stuff. Now there's some bigger ones out there, but it's very focused and niche. And if we don't have someone talking about AI, we try to send them somewhere else because we want to focus on what's important for our
Yeah.
group.
So what happened? Like, what was that trigger moment where you were like, oh, I should build this Facebook group? What? And like, want to hear the story? Yeah.
Yeah, it had been in my mind for a while, but I was like, no one's gonna care, right? Like I care like a whole lot about this stuff because I built a moving company and then I stepped away from it completely by processes and systems and a little bit of AI, right? So to me, this is like my wheelhouse. And we're also been building a marketing agency that helps movers as well. It's movermarketing.ai that I had shown on the screen earlier. So instead of working inside my bubble of like thinking this is really cool, I was like, I'll just make a group and see if anybody cares, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like that drive, like driving somewhere kind of thought where you're like driving and just thinking in your head, and I'm like, okay, I shouldn't do this right now, but I'm gonna make it while I'm driving. And then I think by the time I got where I was going, because I was traveling through Mexico, like we already had 100 people, or it's insane. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, like I guess there is something to talk about here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. Hopefully you got there safe.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so then you started this group. Oh, I think I remember some of your early posts. I remember screenshotting it and sending it to my team in our company chat Slack. And
Hmm.
we're all just like blown away, right? Because we've known about Chat GPT since and OpenAI and LLMs since they launched, and we've been
Hmm.
using it internally a lot too, kind of like you. And our programmers use it, our marketing team uses it. It just helps us like scale a lot faster and do things better and remove a
Yeah.
lot of work. And we've been like thinking of this like different things that we could incorporate into the moving industry, but kind of like you, we were like, oh, I don't know if people will, I don't know if people are ready for
Hmm.
it yet. But then after seeing your group and seeing it take off, seeing all the cool things that you're doing, and how much better AI got in like a year,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I thought like a podcast like this was going to be like critical, right? Like teaching people about AI, and then now like slowly bringing this industry into the
Yeah.
next decade. So
No, that's what I was super excited about was like how can we drive the future not only with just the moving companies with like industry specific softwares and marketing companies and whatever because if they don't know that there's interest in it, they're not going to focus on it, right? Just going to work in their bubble too. Um, let's see. Work in their bubble and not understand like what the capabilities are, and that's going to be why our industry is delayed in a hole. So my objective was to be, how do we get this focus into this one area because it could have a huge impact and be
yep.
in front of it, because without this I think like it's an incubator and we can put our ideas in there and then people that have the skills necessary to work around it, now we provided them, hey, this is what we want. Maybe we can't
Hmm.
do it, but maybe you can. Maybe you have the right resources. So like I think that was like my main focus is like, let's get everybody on this page, show how important it is, and then actually have the resources to drive the change.
Yep.
Because other industries are going to change fast. right? But the moving industry is always behind, like super behind. So yeah, that's what I was super excited about once I saw the interest. And then like in my mind is how do we take all that um, and get it to the right people. So that's why like I wanted to, I'm so happy to see like the software developers and everybody's joining the group like in partaking in it, not just
Mhm.
moving company owners. I even want to see some employees in different positions in the moving companies join too, because you know they're going to have a different view of what's important to them. And if they can communicate that with us, we have the right people in this group to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So you saw our latest sort of product announcement?
Yes, I did. You want to explain it really quickly? Yes.
Yeah, so we're calling it Sales AI Copilot. And it's imagine that you're a salesperson within a moving company, whether you're an outside salesperson or an inside salesperson, and you have like this expert sales manager, secretary, assistant person working for you in like your pocket. And the way that it works for you is that it's going to be listening to your calls and helping you write up emails and text messages and typing things in to your CRM for you. And then it's going to recommend what to say in certain situations in real time. So it's imagine like every call that your sales team had was like a three-way call with like this expert sales coach. And they're just like feeding them information and reminding them about things that they forgot to say. And we're doing this with this like new AI technology. So um, yeah, we've gotten so much interest already about it. And yeah, would love your thoughts as like a moving company owner, what you thought too.
I'm, yeah, I mean, we've been using Supermove for a few years now too. So I've been always like just really impressed with what you guys bring to the table and all the changes and updates that you continuously make. But this one's definitely a game changer because so we have our salespeople. We don't really have the sales manager that's always on top of them listening to the calls. Like my sales team, they work at home. We have recordings and I have like AI in my phone system, but it's more for like transcripts for, you know, looking for back for data and stuff like, hey, well, I couldn't write down the address. So we type in address and it pulls it up kind of thing. But having this on every call, I'm not even just excited about how it's going to help improve that salesperson. I'm in the amount of leverage that the owners and managers can have by having this and
Yeah.
really diving into what's working and what's not working, that's what I'm excited about. You know, if you have 15, 20 salespeople and now you have all this data that's getting built in the back end so you can go in and make improvements and oh my gosh, like that's super powerful.
Yeah.
Um, the best sales manager in the world could not do that. You know, as long as you know how to utilize the data that you're getting, I mean, I see it's just, yeah, mind blown.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I think the best sales managers do all the time is that they just listen, if especially if you have like software that can record calls, they go back and they listen to as many calls as they can to coach people on what to say. And what I think we want to do is sort of like completely remove that step. Like you can listen to the raw recording if you want to, but similar to how you asked the AI, like what are the reviews and rankings that you get based off your Google Map stuff, you'll be able to ask Supermove's Copilot, hey, like what did people say most commonly about our packing services that allowed them to upsell packing? And then it's going to think and it's going to pull that for you based off of everything that's been recorded and said. So it's like,
yeah,
it's going to be
Ob-
super,
ob-
super impactful.
objections, like you're gonna have every objection that's
Yeah.
over 1,000 phone calls and be able to make a list off of that. You can train your chatbots off of that data. I mean, there's going to be endless opportunities to make that just the most powerful tool in your business. I believe that really it could be the most powerful tool in your business for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't want one of the big challenges we run into also is that changing an entire system from one to another is really difficult. So we're making this standalone where you can use it with any sort of system, make sure that's easy to use and easy to set up, and like that's a big focus for us too. So we have a wait list. I know I'm like pitching it, but we have a wait list, and for people on the wait list, they'll be able to check it out. First, Marcus, you'll probably be the first one to test it out, honestly. Uh, um,
Awesome.
but yeah, it should be really, really exciting. I'm pumped about it. I think this is when we launched our automations product, the automated drip campaign and tasks
Mhm.
stuff. I was like super stoked because that was a step into
Yeah.
where we are today, and I think the industry's ready. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm like the success that I've had in this industry is basically finding triggers and building systems and processes behind it. Like
What do you mean
if you
by
can do
triggers? What do you mean by
like
triggers? And
one interaction, like let's say one thing that happens in your business that you can make as many things that should happen after the fact automatically happen,
oh,
right?
okay. Hmm.
Yeah, so like a customer um, completes a move, they do a survey, and based off that survey, it gives them ask them for the review. It gives a follow-up campaign for referrals. It gets them into an email campaign of maybe in a year they might move again. So maybe 300 days we send them an email just saying, hey, we're still here, kind of thing. One trigger that you don't have to have like your team going and doing all these steps anymore, right? And you can find these triggers in the business because like our moving industry is complex in the fact that we're moving different people's different stuff, but the processes are always the same. You take the call, you book the job,
Hmm.
you follow up, whatever it is. So yeah, that's really to make I don't know to live out of the country and run a business and stuff. That's that's the key to it for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Triggers and systems and processes. It's like the new paradigm of like thinking
Mm-hmm.
about running a business for sure.
Yeah,
All of our best customers are thinking about it that way too.
yeah,
So yeah, super cool to
yep.
see. Um, okay. I think that's a really good like first introductory call. We covered a
Cool.
lot. Um,
Yeah,
hopefully that was useful to
it,
everyone
it will
here.
be.
I think we covered a lot today. Yeah, start of Chat GPT, AI, AI versus automation. Definitely go check out the AI community Facebook
AI
group,
movers community on Facebook. Yep.
AI movers community. I think you can just search that and
Mm-hmm.
you can mention you heard about it on this podcast, and I'm sure Marcus will quickly accept you in.
Yeah, for
And
sure. Do that.
yeah, check out movermarketing.ai. They have some really cool things going on there that's helping out moving companies on the marketing side with AI. And check out Supermove, supermove.com, and also the Sales AI Copilot. We have a wait list going on, as I mentioned. Um, Sign up there, and we'll give you all the updates about it as soon as it comes up. And subscribe to this podcast. This is episode 1. Um, Thank you for listening, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.